guys, welcome back to Our Non-Toxic Podcast. I'm Hannah, and this is officially episode number 80, which is absolutely crazy town. Somehow 80 feels like there's just no way we've been doing it this long. There's no way. But we are getting close to a year and a half, and our 2-year anniversary will be in November. At the same time, my 26th anniversary of being alive is occurring. So that'll be a fun time to celebrate any and all things. Also Thanksgiving. So you guys can all celebrate being thankful that you get to listen to this once a week. Just kidding. That was really obnoxious, and I'm so sorry. Ooh, look, a little bobby pin was stuck to my iPad. Don't you love that? I have mini notes for you guys. As per usual, I have the iPad. That's how you know it's serious. This is not going to be a serious episode. This is going to be a fun, little girly episode. I try and sprinkle them in every so often. I know that I usually alternate between guest and solo and guest and solo, but I just wasn't able to get someone scheduled this week due to not planning ahead. So hopefully you're okay with just listening to me yap for about an hour once again. Last week was an hour and a half. That was, I think, a new personal record of talking to myself, at least on camera. I've probably done that in the past, just off the record, just me, myself, and I, but you know, good company, I guess. First note, I do want to say I have reached a new record. First, if you can see my hand trembling right now, if you're watching on YouTube, my hand is absolutely shaking like crazy, and I'm not sure if this is a combination of the 4 shots of espresso that was in my coffee this morning. This is the Monstera from Urban Grounds. It's one of my all-time favorite drinks. I just took a little hiatus because I was obsessed with the moon mallow. And I actually had a funny encounter this morning with my good friend Mackenzie. And I was walking into Urban Grounds, as you do, and I see her coming in like 20 feet ahead of me. So I'm just like, oh, amazing. I'm going to get to say hello. So I walked in and I said, fancy seeing you here. And she said, oh my gosh, were your ears just burning? And I said, whatever do you mean? And she said, I just told Hannah, another good friend of mine, the barista, I just told Hannah that you got me hooked on this moon mallow and now it's off the menu and I'm so mad. I said, yeah, I know. I kind of did everyone a disservice by not posting about it and obsessing over it publicly until it was basically off the menu. So my apologies to everyone that I didn't enlighten to how delicious and life-changing that particular latte was until it was too late. But we made a little joke that if you say my name 3 times in Urban Grounds, I will just spawn out of nowhere. There's about a 70% chance at any given point in time that if you go to Urban Grounds, you might see me. I stop there way too often. It's on my way home. It's on my way to Springfield. It's like I have to stop at all times. And it doesn't help my case that I'm friends with the owner. Callie's amazing. I'm friends with the manager, Hannah. She's amazing. I'm friends with so many of the baristas. So now I have convinced myself that not only is it benefiting me that I go, it's benefiting my friends and my peers because I go and buy my little lattes several times a week. So that's just me doing my part in the community. Also, I apologize for my voice. It's a little scratchy. I don't really know why. I went to a concert on Saturday, but it's now Wednesday, and it didn't really start getting scratchy until yesterday, so I'm not really sure what's causing this, but it is going to be everybody's problem for this episode. I kind of like it, but at the same time, it's a little irritating, so sorry. Next, I played tennis with my husband last night. Again, this goes back to my hand shaking. Sorry guys, we're all over the place today. The Monstera has 4 shots of espresso. This was my go-to order for a long time before the moon mallow took over and just grabbed me in its amazing little claws. This has 4 shots of espresso. I get mine with toffee nut and salted caramel cold foam, and it's delicious. It's a little bit sweeter than the normal, but it will cause you to border on the line of heart palpitations and or panic attacks. So just be conscious of your mental health whenever you have this coffee. If you have a lot of things to get done, if you really need to be like powering through as though you were if you're charging into war, maybe this would be a good beverage. If you are, I really don't even know what I'm talking about. Anywho, I think that if you are needing to go on an absolute marathon journey, if you're doing what Frodo and Lord of the Rings did and you're traveling across the land to deposit a cursed ring into Mount Doom, this is what you're going to need to power you through. If you have some kind of voyage coming up, if you have children, this also could be good for you. That's why they call it the Monstera. But I digress. That could be the cause of my caffeine shakes. I also played tennis last night, as I started to mention before I got so chaotically sidetracked. I saw Challengers, right? As many of us have. And ever since the previews came out for this movie, I knew that this was going to become a new obsession of mine. Keep in mind, I'm not athletic. I have not played sports. I've run track. That's more of like a fitness thing. It's not really like overall athleticism. You don't have to have a lot of hand-eye coordination. So I told my friends, I made a Pinterest board. This is going to be my new obsession. I just know I'm going to have this uncontrollable, irrepressible urge, this hankering to play tennis despite not ever having played in my life. Sure enough, watched the movie. Zendaya was amazing. It was a great movie. I'm like, I have to play tennis. So last night I had gone for a run, went to the gym, everything, and I still had this energy because I worked from home and usually I just have like this uncontrollable well of energy after I do that. So I told Austin, we're going to play tennis. And he said, I'd really love to. Unfortunately, we don't have any tennis rackets. So I guess we're SOL. I said, oh, fear not. My parents have some that are collecting dust in the garage that we can go borrow. I already asked. And he said, oh, amazing. Crisis averted. I guess we can go now. So we went over, snagged the rackets and everything from my parents' garage where they have been long forgotten, went to go play tennis. And I am bad. I am not good. I won't lie to you. It's just that I think people who are athletes or have played sports their entire life forget how natural these things, like these maneuvers are. And people who are athletic, I think, can just pick up a sport at any point in time, and it doesn't have to be their sport or even like akin to their sport. They just have this natural finesse that you only get from being athletic. For example, my husband played basketball his whole life. He can just pick up tennis like it's no problem. He can pick up almost any sport, just throwing, catching, whatever else. And I think it's because you have these skills that you develop as an athlete where like you know exactly how long your body is. Like if you need to reach out for like a frisbee, for example, that's flying across the sky, you can reach out and grab it and you know exactly like how, like when you need to extend yourself to grab it. And that sounds so stupid to say. I hope somebody else understands what I'm trying to express to you. But whenever I'm playing any kind of sport, I know that I have the propensity to do these things. Like I'm in shape, I can run things down. I just don't know how to make my body do it in a way that's like effective. Basically, like we're playing tennis and he's so patient, bless his sweet soul. But it's just the way that you have to know your body in a way that's like second nature or just reacts to things, I have to think about. So he can like not have played in years and maybe even have played a handful of times in his life. He can pick up the tennis racket and know exactly like how to serve and how to execute these things. And then he's telling me, well, you can't just like bounce the ball off of it. You don't hit it too hard. You just have to like follow it through, guide it through. And I'm like, do you know that that maneuver occurs in a fraction of a second? How am I supposed to make corrections to what I'm doing when I hit the ball when it happens like that? I can't, I'm just happy I'm making contact. So then he's trying to coach me through all these things. Like you're supposed to do it, like have a little top spin on the ball so it doesn't go up in the air, so it spins down, and explaining to me how I need to, move the racket as I'm actively trying to make contact and why the ball should hit the exact center of the racket for maximum success. I don't know. I was just happy I was chasing the balls and I was like smacking them back to him. Whether they're hitting where they're supposed to on the court or not, I don't know. Okay. I'm not Tashi Duncan. I just wanted to wear my cute outfit to go out there, get a workout in. And surprisingly, it was a killer workout. My forearm is sore. Like there's muscles in my forearm I don't think I've ever worked or discovered before. So my hand is very shaky. Like I was trying to do my hair this morning and it just was fatiguing me in a way that is embarrassing for somebody who played recreational tennis. And typically, I am not a recreational sports person. I like to work out in ways that I just think are fun. No different than people who go play sports for fun. I have friends that play softball, friends that play volleyball, friends that do pickleball. I've just never been good at those things, so I don't participate in them. And it's even to the point that my friends won't even ask me to sub in because sometimes they just need an extra body. I've done that before. I don't get asked back, and that's okay with me. So tennis, I just didn't expect myself to go so hard. I ended up running 3 extra miles, partially because I missed so many things and I was trying to, give my best effort, trying to get a workout in, get that heart rate up. I swear I was in zone like 5 the entire time. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like a zone of your heart rate, and you're supposed to, like in the running world, you can have a zone 2 run, which doesn't exist in my running world, but you keep your heart rate somewhat low. You're not overexerting yourself so you can run for longer. Then you have your zone like 3, 4, 5. I don't even know how many zones there are. I'm not an expert, okay? And I swear my heart rate was like 180 the entire time I was playing because I was hustling. Knees to chest, sprinting. I'm surprised I didn't blow a knee out, to be honest with you. But I was doing my very best to actually like apply myself, which is something I struggle to do with things that I know I won't be good at, which I know a lot of you guys can relate to. However, I burned like 800 something calories. We played for an hour and 20 minutes, and there were some casualties. I had long nails up until about an hour ago because I just got them fixed. But I had this nail, this little baby nail, my ring finger, and my husband had so kindly instructed me that whenever you're hitting backhand, you're supposed to use both of your hands. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I am because I'm a tennis expert, but I'm going to like backhand the ball, and I pinched my nail in like the palm of my hand again because these things happen in seconds. I don't really have the ability to pivot that quickly. So my nail gets trapped and it bends backwards. So the nail that's like adhered to the root of my finger peels up, splits the nail. It's bleeding, it's throbbing, and you know how painful it is whenever you split a nail, but so far, like at the root of your nail close to the cuticle, it hurts so bad. It has no reason to be that painful for just a nail, but I also don't have tips on. These are just my nails. So when it breaks in a way that makes me want to cut my own hand off. So I'm repressing the urge to just spew profanity at the court. It's bleeding. I'm so into the game though, because I'm determined at this point. I can see myself getting like a tiny bit better, that I want to keep going. So we keep playing, which of course makes it worse because then the more you're like swinging your hand around, the more it's bleeding. So apologies to anyone who happens to see my blood on the tennis court, but you know what they say. I don't know what they say, but it was a good time. It was exhausting. We came home and I was like, why are my hips sore? My calves are sore. I'm not kidding you guys. I have my forearm, this muscle that like goes down the side of my back, so sore. My abs, so sore. And I thought I trained abs. So I don't know what I was doing like prior to this, but I am not in tennis shape. But this could be a new little fun activity for me. So if anybody's actually good, actually no, if you're good and patient, you can play with me. Or if you're bad, those are the two kinds of people I'm accepting. If you're good and you're not patient, for beginners, we will unfortunately not jive in this situation. But I'm trying to cut back on running because as you guys know, I've lost many toenails. I've actually lost the same 2 toenails about 3 times, and 2 of them are just non-existent. They're kind of growing back. They've kind of just given up. And like I mentioned in the last episode, I think I've just gotten to a point that I need to cut my losses and just pick a different hobby because my hips were tightening. And I did start doing what TikTok instructed me, which is doing some hip mobility exercises. And that did help. Wouldn't you know it? But I was having like knee pain. My toenails are falling off. I'm having hip pain. And I know some of that is inevitable, but then at what point do you just say like, maybe I need to cut back because I'm not trying to make this a career. This is just fun for me and it's ceasing to be fun. So last week I just did a lot of stairs, a lot of stadium runs, and that's good. It's also getting kind of hot, so it's harder to find a time where you can do that like hour and a half run unless you want to get up super early or do it super late, which is an easy solution. It's just one that I'm not really interested in. So I'm going to be changing my workout interest. Tennis is my new thing. Mark my words. I'm about to be so obnoxious. And honestly, my dream would be to get so good at tennis, but then have no one know so that Austin and I can go and shark the other couples that we hang out with. You know, go and say, oh, my wife is so bad, whatever. Let's play a quick round. We'll put some cash on it. They think I'm so bad. They're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be such a breeze. Look at this girl. She sucks. And then me coming out there just like, poof, poof. Yeah, that's my dream. Probably not going to happen, but it's important to have ambitions moving forward. Memorial Day recap. By that, I mean Memorial Day weekend. First of all, thank you to everyone who has served, everyone who is a military spouse or child or parent or is in the military themselves. Thank you so much for everything you've done and provided for our country that allows me to have had this amazing, silly, casual weekend with no fear of, danger or really anything else. So thank you for allowing me to have my silly life and my silly podcast and my generally protected life. I very much appreciate you, and there are no words to convey that without sounding so trivial. So I apologize for not being able to do you justice, but this is a pro military family podcast, and we love you and we appreciate all your contributions. That being said, I had a great weekend. It was one of those weekends where I was going so nonstop. It honestly felt like a very typical summer weekend. And it almost felt like I was back in high school where you're just like running in and out, doing all these things. And usually I stress myself out in a way that is so stupid to do, but I'll get so overwhelmed with the knowledge that my house is messy or that things haven't been picked up or whatever else, like tasks that are looming over me, and I'll let it ruin my time for no reason because the house will get clean. It always has gotten clean in the past eventually. So I was really making a point this weekend of not letting that dictate how much fun I was having. And I know that sounds so stupid, like just don't think about the house, but it like nags me in the back of my head. I don't know. Probably inherited from my mother because she's also very clean and very organized, and it's just one of those things that you can't kick. So I'm actively working on it. Probably could go to therapy for that in addition to the other things, but neither here nor there. I started off Friday, had some work, had some things going on, and then my good friend Cash Money Morgan came back to my house, and we were working on just our miscellaneous tasks, like finishing up work for the week because she works from home on Fridays. I work from home now and again. So we're on the back porch, and we had to set a little timer to make sure that we actually got work done. So we would do 20 minutes of work and like 10 minutes of chit chat, 20 minutes of work, 10 minutes of chit chat. And it's very difficult because whenever someone's right next to you and your brain just like thinks of things to say, it's very difficult to rein yourself in. So I'd always like check the timer and be like, okay, I can talk to her in 14 and a half minutes. I can talk in 3.5 minutes. But it was good for getting things done. Then we ended up packing a bag and going up to Springfield Lake because there's a place on the backside of Springfield Lake that you can, that is a fishing dock mainly, but they have a long little stretch of dock, and then there's probably 6 different pads that you can sit down in or fish. We do not fish, but we brought blankets and like a speaker, little snacks, and it was so much fun. So we had a little impromptu, like, let's just go to the lake and see what's going on. And we ended up taking some really cute Instagram photos, which I didn't really expect because I was not looking especially presentable that day. I had like second day pool hair, sweat shorts on, whatever else. But it was so fun. It was such a good memory. We had a good little life talk. Then again, impromptu, my grandparents asked me if Austin was gone, which he was. He was golfing. Imagine that. And they were like, do you want to come over for dinner? And I said, I would love to, but I'm with my friend Morgan. They said, bring her over. So I said, Morgan, do you want to come to eat with my grandparents? She said, sure, why not? So we went to my grandparents' house, had a nice dinner. It was so fun. We had taco salad. Then afterwards, we were coming back to my house, and my husband still wasn't home because, you know, golf widow. And there was a storm rolling in, and I'm a sucker for a good thunderstorm. You know, I'm a woman of the arts. I said, Morgan, do you want to sit out back and watch this storm roll in with me? And she said, yeah, for sure. So we put on the most vibey playlist. Actually, Spotify has a playlist for every mood. So I just searched storm playlist, and they had a storm playlist curated just for my taste in music, which already skews kind of depressing anyways. So we sat out back for like an hour and a half and just watched the storm come through, had a little life talk, got way too deep for no reason. And that was great. So the next day, I spent some time with my parents. Then the Morgan Wallen concert was that evening, which I think every person in the tri-state area went to. It was really fun, but we got there too close to him performing. And I wish I would have gotten there earlier because my outfit was very cute, if I do say so myself. I had a chance to wear that corset that I thrifted. It was $7 that I've had no chance to wear because when else can you break out like a leather corset in just your daily life? I guess anytime. Maybe I'll wear it in the podcast at some point because I didn't get a good picture on it. But it's not really conducive to sitting. It's so snug. Obviously, girl, it's a corset, but you have to sit up. And the way that it would like cut into my ribs is a feeling I will not soon forget. But it was so cute. It fit the vibe, it fit the outfit. And I got to see a bunch of friends there. I just didn't really have an excess amount of time to walk around. And that kind of bummed me out because I do love to just flit around and be a social butterfly. But we got there just in time to make the long hike to the stadium and then down to our seats. I had a hot dog that was like an abnormal shade of pink, and I almost didn't eat it, but it turned out to be really good. It was just really like vibrantly, unnaturally colored, and that almost scared me off. Fortunately for me, I don't care about dyes and processed food. I will eat anything presented to me. That was a great time. Then had a Memorial Day party with Austin's family. Then on Sunday or Monday, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law and I went to a strawberry patch, which was so fun. I'll give you some more details in my bucket list to come. But we had a really good time. It was like a nice little wholesome day. Had so many strawberries. I'm surprised I didn't turn into one. Just overall, great time. Spent a lot of time at the pool. You probably can't tell because I'm in bright lighting, but I did get some sun this weekend with sunscreen, of course, because we're not trying to get skin cancer again. So if you have not heard that story, you can go back and listen to one from... Actually, I don't know if we had a podcast back then. I don't think we did. So never mind. You can't listen to an episode, but I'm sure I talked about it at some point in the past 80 episodes. Again, neither here nor there. Funny story, guys. I have a father-in-law-ism. I do love my father-in-law. He's given me so much wisdom over the years, but he's not one to really sugarcoat things. So one of the days that I was over at their house this weekend, I've got my laptop. I'm working by the pool. The sun's setting in the background. Life is just good. And he's like, you look really, really stressed, joking around. I was like, yeah, this is really difficult on me, having a hard time. And he's like, yeah, don't get too used to this. So I said, oh, you're going to have to throw me out of here. Unfortunately, I'm not leaving. I'm going to work here all summer. And he said, I don't know. You're pretty stout. I don't think I could throw you out of here. I said, pretty stout. I think what I said was, well, it sounds like you should hit the weight room. But then I told Austin, I said, your dad told me I was stout. And I don't know if you guys know what stout means. I thought that I knew what it meant. So then I Googled it because Austin's like, no, that's not an insult. I Googled the definition of stout. It means particularly short and fat. And then I looked, there's like a second definition that says like sturdy and muscular. But I said, none of those are adjectives I would really prefer to be used when describing me. And he's like, no, you just means that you're short and compact and strong. I said, gee, way to double down on this delightful comment. So in the past 2 weeks, my husband has said to me, wow, it's crazy that none of your teeth touch. And then, oh no, he just means that you're short and compact. Short and compact, what does that mean? Anyways, here I am thinking that I'm doing great. I've lost like 12 pounds since February. Wasn't really intentional, but I have been running quite a bit. And, that is just kind of what happens. Also, we were coming off the holidays and a vacation. So I think some of that was a little bit inflated just because of my diet being inflated. So here I am like, oh my gosh, I'm so lean. I'm doing great. And then my father-in-law humbles me right quick and in a hurry. So gotta love that. If it's not your dad, it's your father-in-law. It's a good thing that I know my worth comes from Jesus Christ. Next, what else do I have to talk about? Oh, I got my Botox touched up. You guys can't tell, but probably in the next episode, you'll see my lip looking real nice because Brie got me right with the lip flip. And she just is amazing. But speaking of Brie, we've got some sad news. Brie and I had a talk yesterday, and we talk all the time. We stay in touch. She does my Botox. We do content. We hang out. I see her at the neighborhood all the time. Just not on the microphone. But we were just touching base about the podcast and like what she has going on with her life and everything else. And she just is not in a place to return. So we have kind of officially come to the consensus that I'm going to take the podcast officially, and she's going to continue doing the 1,001 other things that she's struggling right now because she's a superwoman and supermom and she's incredible. And there's just too much on her plate for her to effectively juggle one more thing and not feel so burnt out and overwhelmed, which is 100,000% fair. But I still obviously love the podcast and love to do this. And she was, obviously so kind and supportive, and I will always adore her. This will always be a fan club for Brie Wise. We love you so much. But with that being said, I'm having a hard time deciding what to do with the branding of this podcast because obviously it's our non-toxic podcast, and our being just me sounds a little schizophrenic. Also, we came up with non-toxic because it's non-toxic, but also it's like a play on the Botox thing because she's my injector. So, and even the logo that I made, it has like the syringe in it. So something has to change regardless. And I'm torn between doing like just switching it to my non-toxic podcast or the non-toxic podcast and then changing the logo, or switching it up altogether. But also we're a year and a half in, we're 80 episodes in of me saying our non-toxic podcast. So do I want to change it or what? I don't know. So you guys give me some feedback because, this is a fun little community and I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Also, very sad. I was listening to an episode of Brie and I, which I usually don't go back and listen to the episodes because I don't like to hear my own voice that much, but almost like the finality of the decision of her not coming back, which again is so more than okay. She deserves all the time and space in the world. She deserves all of the everything. She's running a whole business. She's got 2 little kids. She has a marriage. She has friends. She has so much going on. So that is more than okay. But the finality of it, I was like, oh, well, now I'm getting nostalgic even more so because it was in limbo for a while. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's not over. And she might come back. And now I was listening to an episode of us from like last fall, and I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to make a sad edit about that later. A sad edit about my own podcast. But anywho, let me know what you guys think. If you have any name suggestions and you come up with a killer name or idea for anything else, then let me know. I'll buy you a coffee. It'll be great. But one of the reasons I was waiting to do merch and everything else is because I wasn't really sure what we were going to do. And I didn't want to come up with merch and then change the name or blah, blah, blah. You guys don't care. But now that we have this kind of officially laid out, then I want to get more things cemented. Also, she's going to come in for guest appearances. So she's not rid of us completely because we, first and foremost, will always stand Brie. Moving right along, because we are 24 minutes and 47 seconds in. Here's my report. I'm going to fly through it. Reading the same exact book I've been saying for the past month because I only read at the pool. And what happens is that I bring my book to the pool, I lay there, and I'll read and I'm either like propped up or I have my arms over my head and then my arms get tired. So I put my arms down and I'm like, you know what sounds better? Just not reading. So then I put the book away and I just don't read. So I read about 7 pages every week and it's a book that I've already read before. So I just get very distracted. So I don't really anticipate that changing anytime soon. Next, eating. I've really been into grilling out lately. And by grilling out, I mean going somewhere where someone else is grilling out for me, i.e. Austin or my dad or my father-in-law or really anybody who's grilling out. It just feels like summertime and it's very patriotic in my opinion. So we have been eating a lot of burgers lately. Next, playing. I don't want to say her name wrong, but it's Chapel Roan. She's so good. Every song she's put out is like such a bop. I've been jamming. She has completely taken over my serotonin song playlist, which I'll get to. Also tennis. I've been playing a lot of tennis. And by a lot, I mean an hour and a half last night. Obsessing over Jason Sudeikis. I don't know if you've seen his cameos in my last like 5 Instagram posts, but yep, he's doing great right now in my universe. Recommending Ted Lasso. Once again, just the best show in the entire world. It's so good, so heartwarming, so many life lessons. He's amazing. Treating myself. Andy's Frozen Custard has come out with a new coffee milkshake blend, and it was sent to me / I was tagged in it like 58 times. And who would I be if I don't go try it and post about it? Obviously, you know, I gotta uphold my reputation as someone who's obsessed with coffee and sweets. Moving forward, here is our topic for the day. We're talking about summer bucket list. We're talking about things to do to make your summer amazing. I feel like I've been summering pretty hard recently, just between everything that I've been trying to do. I've been trying to get to a pool whenever I can, play sports outside, go for walks, work out, just anything that I can to maximize the season because I know how long I waited for it and how depressed, every winter I get. So now I'm trying to really live up to all of the anticipation that I've had and just kind of go with the flow, be more chill about all these things. So I've come up with the recipe for an ideal summer day that we can all follow. And I've tried to make it as simple as possible because the last thing you want in the summer is like something that you have to stick to and hold yourself accountable to because that becomes very cumbersome. So here's my recipe for a perfect summer day, but it's very simple. So what we're going to have is one fun beverage a day. That can even be a coffee from home with a fun creamer that you purchase from your local price cutter. It can be a Sonic drink during happy hour that's like 88 cents. It can be an Urban Grounds coffee. It can be a mocktail, a cocktail. It can be a poppy drink that you purchased in bulk at Sam's Club. Really whatever. Just something fun to look forward to. It sounds silly, but it just changes your little mood. It changes your outlook. Or it does for me, at least. You need to get the minimum amount of sun time that you can fit in. If it's 10 minutes, that's fine. If it's 5, that's fine. And it can be in the morning, whenever you first wake up before you leave, just like sit outside for 5 minutes, basking in the sun. That's it. Just a little bit of lizard time. If you can get several hours in, amazing. Going for a walk in the evening while the sun's still out, whatever you can do. Maybe roll the windows down when you're driving and just feel the sun on your skin. I don't know if it's just me, but even just being in the sun for a short period of time really makes me feel so much more alive and awake and just like it warms my soul. It thaws out whatever is frozen inside of me. Next, we're going to move our body in some way. It can be so simple. You can put on a Just Dance YouTube video and just do that. You can go for a little walk. You can, I don't even know, just like dance in your room. You can actually do like a workout, play a sport, go swim. Just move your body in some way. Again, this might just be a me thing. I have a hunch that it's not. But anytime I'm moving my body just in like the slightest way, I always feel so much better. The times that I start to feel the worst and get the lowest in my mind are whenever I'm stagnant, sitting at my desk all day, or I'm on the couch all day. Like I think that's why the winter is so much of a struggle is because I'm so much less active than the summertime, in addition to my poor diet and the lack of sun and all of those things. But I think moving your body in any way, like this is not a high pressure, like get out there and do some work. It's just find a way to move your body in whatever small little way. These are low pressure things. We're not going to make it a whole shebang. It doesn't have to cost any money. Just try and do those 4 things in your day. And I think that it just helps elevate your days ever so slightly and just keep you focused on, little things that make you happy, little changes in your life. Next, we're doing our summer bucket list. Everyone had submitted some different things, and I feel like I do this every year, and it might be super repetitive, but sometimes it's just fun to go over all of the different ways that you can spend your summer and things that you forget to do. Because if you're anything like me and my friends, we will say, oh, we should do this, we should do that. We never make a list, we never like write it down, and then next thing you know, it's August, which in Missouri, we still have several months of heat when it's August, but at that point, you've changed into the grumpy stage of summertime where you just want it to be fall so badly. And it's not, it's still 95 degrees for 2.5 more months. So at that point, you're not really receptive to any fun ideas. But this year, I'm making a push. If there's a fun idea, we're getting it on the calendar. We're making it happen. We're going to soak it up, going to enjoy it. Let me know if you're with me. I've broken these things down into 3 categories. We've got free or low cost, crafts, and then things that cost money, because some things, unfortunately, just cost money. But it's nice to have a little tier system of all 3 things that you can do. So free or low cost, first we have pool time / lizard time. This is self-explanatory. Sometimes you don't have a pool, which is why I said lizard time. Lizard time is anytime you're just in the sun, like basking in the sun. Imagine like an iguana on one of those like terrarium rocks, just in the sun lamp, just like head in the air, chest out. That's lizard time. So we're going to go lizard mode as often as we can this summer. It could be in your backyard. I know you can buy those little pools online that you can just fill up with the hose. I've been very tempted to do that, but I think that Austin would get mad at me for killing all the grass that we've like tried so hard to finally regrow. You know, men and their grass. Men and their grass. But there's a neighborhood pool, fortunately, that we have. If you don't have access to one, sneak into one. You know? Just get the hose out. Put a couple cushions on the ground. The number of times that I've laid out in my concrete driveway as a high schooler, or like, I don't know, in the most random places at my apartment complex, just because I had no access to the sun otherwise. Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. So lizard time as often as possible. Just get that vitamin D. Next, hammocking. So this isn't free. This is low cost unless you already have a hammock. But my hammock, I think, is from Academy. It was like $30. It was not that expensive. So you need the hammock and the straps, and that's really it. Fortunately for me, I have 2 like spots in my backyard that I can hook the hammock up to. But if you don't, go to a park, go anywhere else, go somewhere you can set your hammocks up. I've even done this between like 2 cars in the past. I'm not sure if it's great for the car, but high school me did not care. And my friends and I would like shut the straps in the car door and then just set it up that way. And it seemed to work. So don't hold me accountable if that damages your car's frame in some way. But at least it did not damage my 2002 Acura TL. And if it had, you probably couldn't have noticed, because I had not really kept the car in pristine condition. So hammocking, it's just so relaxing. Reading a book in the hammock, taking a nap in the hammock. And it's surprisingly cool because whenever you're in the hammock, there's obviously a breeze underneath you. So even on warmer days, you don't really get too overheated like you would just laying on your back on a chair. Next, sit at a dock. If you're in Springfield, the docks that I mentioned at Springfield Lake are fantastic. And if you are not, I cannot help you with that, but you can find some free docks, some public accesses. There's also in Springfield a place called Valley Water Mill Lake, which is great for walking, running, hiking, anything like that. But they have 3 or 4 docks as well, where it's like a private little covered dock that you can go out, put a blanket in, bring your kids, just do fun stuff. It's intended for fishermen, but listen, the non-fishing community deserves to have some dock time as well, and I will die on that hill. I think it's just fun. Like, we brought a speaker, a blanket, a couple snacks, and all we did was just sit out on the dock and look at the water, and it's just a nice change of scenery. I think sometimes we talk ourselves out of going to do these fun things because, like, what's the point? Technically, what's the point? But at the same time, if you don't take advantage of these chances to go do summery things, you're just never going to do them. So sometimes it's worth packing up the stuff and driving like 20 minutes away just to have a fun change of scenery and, you know, making some memories. Next, backyard picnic. My friend Susan and I did this last summer, and it's seriously one of my favorite memories of the entire year. It was not that special as far as what we brought. It was just a blanket in my parents' backyard because they have a big backyard that's like open to a cow pasture. Well, there's a fence. The cows did not have direct access to us, but the view, it's visually open to a cow pasture. And she got like a Sam's Club pizza. I got some stuff from Aldi's. You know, Aldi's has the best stuff for charcuterie and some of that sparkling lemonade. And we just spread it out across the picnic and picnic blanket, made it look super cute because obviously we're going to take some photos. And it was so much fun. Like, we just had Taylor Swift playing in the background, her summer bops, and it was so fun. It wasn't really anything crazy. We took some photos, and then the rest of the time we just sat and listened to music and basked in the sunset, and then got bitten by chiggers on our ankles and feet. And we made a point to like wear sundresses, like flowy little dresses, just because if you don't take the time to make something special, when are you going to have special occasions? That was very fun and low cost. I think we probably spent like maybe $30 on all the food, and we way overdid it with the food, being that we were just 2 people, but it was fun to have regardless. Next, hiking. There are hiking spots so, you know, so frequently. There are hiking spots everywhere around this area. There's Busick, there's Valley Water Mill, there's I forget the place down in Branson, but there's a couple different conservation areas down in Branson you can hike at. Sequoia isn't really hiking, but there's a trail that kind of goes up through the woods. It's fun just to have little areas that you can go and walk through and experience the nature. Keep an eye out for snakes, maybe pack some bug spray. But those are just, it's fun to get out. And I know that there are so many people that like, you can't listen to headphones and listen to music whenever you're in the woods. Probably true. So be safe. But I love to just put in headphones, listen to a podcast, listen to really anything, even just, my happy playlist, my serotonin songs, and even just listening to those and going through, I don't know, a nice little trail, soaking in the nature and not being on your phone actively. It's like a nice way to let your brain wander, but keeping your body engaged. Whatevs. I do kind of want to take a day trip down to Arkansas and do some hiking, but that's one of those things that I always think about and then forget to plan. So if any of my friends want to hold me accountable to that one, I think it would be great. Next, this one I did already do, but it was great. Watch a thunderstorm with a bottle of wine. It was so relaxing and it felt like the simplest thing, but we had a playlist in the background, glasses of wine, watching the storm come in. It felt like a whole occasion. It was nice. We did get really in our feels though and started talking about like some heavy stuff. So beware of that. I feel like that's a natural progression if you're watching a storm with a bottle of wine, but whatever. Next, road trip to a small town. Missouri is absolutely a flush with small towns, so you shouldn't have an issue if you live in this area. And here's what I mean by that. I'm from Nixa, Missouri, which is not a big city by any means, but it's definitely not like a small little pass-through town. And sometimes if I'm passing through to go to different areas, you see these cute little towns with historic downtowns and historic whatever else, and you just never think to go to them. But there are so many towns around here that have like little coffee shops or bookstores or little boutiques, and they're just cute areas. So I think it would be so fun to just pack up for the day and go hopping around little small towns just to see what they have. And they always have those like murals on the side of one old brick wall that have the history of the building and like a big bass fish or something. So I think it would be cute just to drive around and do that. So not free because you'd have to pay for the gas and whatever you do when you're in the town, but it would just be cute. And since it's a nice time of year, you can have the windows down, you can listen to music, it makes the drive go by faster. And whenever it's warmer, you don't really mind getting in and out of the car like you would if it was, 32 degrees. So pack up your friends, go road trip to, Macon, Missouri. Could be a good time. Let me know how it goes. Moving right along, thrifting or upcycling clothes. This again is not free, but it is inexpensive. I've been doing a lot of garage sailing and, as you guys know, also thrifting, but I keep seeing all these things on TikTok about how you like cut your shirts or how you can make them cute. You can bleach dye them. There's just so many fun things that you can do to make your clothes look new. You could even do this with clothes that you have that you don't wear anymore. If you have shirts that you're not really ready to part with, try making them cuter. Just do a fun little craft, cut them into a tank top, cut your crew necks up, cut your husband's crew necks up. Just have a day where you pull all these things from your closet that you like but you haven't really done much with and see if you can make them a little more fun. Next, juicing. I won't lie to you, I don't have an interest in this currently, but I did go through a juicing phase last summer where I was juicing everything, just any kinds of juices. It was great, but it is a little pricey if you want to make a lot of juice because it takes like 6 oranges to make 1 glass of juice. So be conscious of the investment that's required of you if you want to get into this, but it's just fun and it goes right back to our recipe for a good summer day. You have to have something fresh, some kind of fun beverage. So you could make your own juices, but be warned, it's not for the faint of heart. Next, outdoor workouts. I love a good outdoor workout. Obviously, if you follow me on Instagram, I don't shut up about it. It's just something about working out in the sun. I don't also mind to sweat. I will sweat an obscene amount, but working out in the sun, it just makes me feel alive. Like I have more energy. I feel so cleansed after I've sweat, the equivalent to what a grown man in a sauna would. But it's fun. I like to do either running or walking. I like to run stairs. Even if I take my yoga mat outside and just do like a core workout or something else, it's so much fun. Obviously, tennis, any sport, pickleball, that's all great. Next is coincidentally tennis or pickleball. I know there are a lot of open courts. There's the next junior or the next high school fields. There's some at the old park. I think it's not Macaulay Park. Anywho, the old park and next to the shady one. There's probably other tennis courts that are just free around the city that if you research, you can find. Show up, play some pickleball, play some tennis, just run around, get your heart rate up. It's just a good time to be not in front of a TV. And as much as I love TV time, I try and save that now for not daylight hours because if I can be outside, I really am just trying to be as much as I can. Next, do a summer reading challenge. I miss the days in school whenever you would have those library challenges. I think they would send you home with a poster and you had to fill in like how many books you'd read, and if you finished it, you got a prize and so on. Just give yourself a reading challenge. I know that there are different apps where you can track books that you've read. So set yourself a goal, see if you can meet or exceed your reading challenge and just make it fun. Like you can do it with friends, you can do it with random people online, you can do it with just yourself, but I think we should bring back the art of the reading challenge. Next, and final thing under the free and or low cost section is have a sunset photo shoot, parentheses, or any kind of photo shoot. This sounds so like, well, why would I do that? But I think it's so much fun. My friends and I in the past have gotten together and just taken like golden hour photos where you just put on a cute outfit and you go out with the intention of just taking photos and then you can go out to eat afterwards. But it's just a good time, and it's a good time to capture, this point in your life, this moment, how you look at this exact age. But overall, it's just fun. Take some photos for Instagram. It's not that serious. It doesn't have to be. Just go out with your friends. You can bring your old camera. You can bring your phone, whatever. But I just think it's fun. Next, CRAFTY. So there's only 4 things on this, but honestly, the options are endless. If you have access to the internet, you can probably find 1,000,001 other things to add. These are my personal things that I want to do. So one of them is to make charm bracelets or charm necklaces. I've already done the charm bracelets, but I want to do one of those charm necklaces. And I know there are several vendors in the area that do charm necklaces that you can pay and like pick out from their charms. And some of them are really cool and have like upcycled designer pieces. So be on the lookout for their pop-ups. They're really cool. I kind of want to make one on my own. I want to order my own charms like that are very personal to me. I'm sure you guys can guess what those might consist of. But you can get the kits on Amazon. I think you can get them on Temu as well if you're not opposed to Temu. But you can buy them on Amazon and then just make them yourself, and it's very fun. Even with me, who has, not the best dexterity and fine motor skills, also easily frustrated with crafts, I had a good time with those. I have failed and given up on the little Taylor Swift charm bracelets, not charm bracelets, friendship bracelets, but the charm bracelets were not that difficult to do. I had a great time. Mine's holding up. It's doing great. So the only reason I don't wear it on the podcast is because the bajinglies would interfere with the audio. So I want to make the necklaces. Next, I want to do the DIY cowboy hats. I've seen this on TikTok a bazillion times, but basically you buy those straw cowboy hats, like the cheap ones. I think they sell them at Hobby Lobby, maybe Michael's. And you basically buy jewels or ribbon or different things to put around the head part of the hat. Very simple. Next, I just saw this one. It's painting those tote bags. So the little canvas tote bags that they, again, sell at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, you can buy fabric paint and paint those. I think that would be so much fun. I am definitely anticipating the same thing that happens whenever I paint pottery, which is I'm so excited. I have a great time doing it. My art doesn't come out the way I want it to, and then I never go pick it up. So I probably will do the same thing. I'm just picturing like go outside, put a blanket down in the grass because I don't want to get anything in my house messy. Have maybe a snack, even like a bottle of wine if you're feeling crazy, or just a fun drink once again, and get the canvas paint, do something simple. And if I don't ever use it, that's fine because I will have had a good time making it. Maybe I'll get those like fabric stamps and then cheat where it's not actually me painting it, but we'll see. Finally, crocheting. I don't know why I get into crocheting every summer because it seems like it should be more of a winter hobby when you're stuck inside. But I love to make little crochet tops, and it's also a fun thing to do when I'm watching TV, so I'm not on my phone because I do be spazzing out. So if I have my little crocheting, I can just like focus and zone out and do all of this. But if I don't have something with my hands, I get fidgety and restless, and then I get on my phone, and then I'm not paying attention to the screen, the big screen or the small screen. It's just too much. So in my constant effort to be less stimulated, I am trying to pick up crocheting once again. And then I wear my own designs and worry the whole time that I messed up and they're going to fall apart while I'm wearing them. So I think the risk of a wardrobe malfunction is what makes it fun. Finally, the paid section of our summer bucket list. First of all, garden party with the girlies. I think that you should get your get your girl gang together, figure out who has the nicest backyard, nominate them, and say, you're going to host. We will contribute, but you're going to host, and have a little garden party. This is basically just get some snacks, eat outside, and wear like a fun dress. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. My friends and I love a good themed party. We just did a charcuterie one. We do holiday parties. We did Valentine's Day. We did Christmas. We're going to do like a Mamma Mia party coming up. We just love to do fun things. So if you love a theme like me, this is a perfect excuse to do one. Do it now before it gets like, hellishly hot. But if you do it closer to sunset, it won't be too bad anyways. And I know we have the cicada year upon us, but I think you can probably work around that. And if you don't have a good backyard, just go to a patio. Just go to a nice patio. Figure it out. Speaking of happy hour in the patio, you can do happy hour. A lot of places are very, they're on the cusp of the mocktail trend right now because a lot of people have gone alcohol free. And I think that's fantastic. So go get a cocktail or a mocktail, or even go get yourself a little soda pop. Go enjoy some time on the patio, just chit chat with no intention of leaving. I'm not talking like a meal on the patio. Just go and that's your afternoon plan. Like whenever you get off work, meet there, get some appetizers, get some drinks, and just hang out, talk, just see how the evening goes. Like it's just nice not to be rushed. And I think that's the whole essence of summertime is to take a deep breath, know that your stuff will get done. I know that those of you with kids are like, girl, that is not realistic. Can you join the universe? Yes. Yes, sometimes. I do want to do a coffee flight tour of the city. There are at least 3 places in Springfield. I know Urban Grounds is one of them that offer coffee flights. And it's just a fun little summer activity. So last time I went was with my brother, and we did a coffee flight at Urban Grounds, and then we went thrifting, and it was like the best day ever. So I think that that's just a fun little activity. Just go get a coffee flight, taste them, vote on your best one, maybe find a new favorite drink, and then you can go thrifting, or you can pair that with any of these other suggestions that I have. So figure it out, but that is something that I'm definitely going to be adding to my list. Go to the fair. There's the Ozarks Empire Fair that comes to our city every single year. I didn't go last year. What happens is that I really romanticize it in my head and think it's going to be so much fun. And then I go and it's so hot because it's like the beginning of August, I think, end of July, and it's like 98 degrees. So you're walking around just so sweaty, and then there's fried food and it's overwhelming. But I did have a good time the year before whenever I went. It's just that it gets to be a lot. So will I try and conquer it this year? Maybe. But it just feels like a summer rite of passage. Like you kind of have to go. I wish it was at the beginning of the summer and not the end, but that's not my call. No one's consulted me for that yet, for fair logistics. Next, go to a strawberry or a fruit patch. My sister-in-law and mother-in-law and I went to Gardener's Orchard. It was so cute. They have so many things for kids, and it's actually free to get in. So you don't have to pay to park. You don't have to pay to enter. You just have to pay if you do different things. So if you go pick strawberries, you pay by the pound for what you get. And I got so many strawberries. I was treating it like it was an Olympic sport, and I came home with like a metric ton of strawberries that we will never hope to eat. So I'm going to start giving those to family members and loved ones. But they have like just like a bubble station. They have a big slide for kids, all kinds of free stuff. It's so cute there. They also have tons of food that you can buy and sweets and a whole bakery of things that are made from their patch. Right now it's strawberries. They're adding blackberries in a couple weeks. They do peaches and apples. It's a lot of things. So that's Gardener's Orchard. It's in Brighton, Missouri. It's so much fun. Great for a little date, great for time with the girls, great for time with the kids. Overall blast. So I would highly recommend that one. That could be free or it could be money, just depending on how you play it. Next, go-karting. This is a little random, but there's this one go-karting venue that has been present since I was a kid, and it just reopened back up. And every single time I drive by it, I have such a hankering to go, but I never plan to go there. So I'm putting it on my bucket list. I'm committing to it verbally. We are going to have a go-karting either double date or a date night, or I'm going to go with my parents and make them take me, but it's going to be fun. And especially when the sun's setting, it's like one of those summer activities. Do I need to go-kart? No, probably not. But it's fun. It's a good time. It's nostalgic. And I think it's one of those things that, whenever you start to feel like you're too old for something, when does that stop? Because it's such a slippery slope to say, oh, I'm too old for that. That's for kids. Well, then what do you get to do? If we're too old to go take sunset photos and go on ice cream dates and go-karting and make friendship bracelets, then man, life is going to get really bleak as we get older. So I know some of these might seem a little juvenile. I just don't care. I think that it's fun and I enjoy making these lists, and it just kind of helps me stay accountable. But I didn't even go over the serotonin songs. That is the fourth thing in the summer day recipe. But I have a whole playlist called serotonin songs, and it's just really happy, upbeat, plucky songs that always put me in a good mood. They're like my timeless, evergreen songs that never fail to just lift me out of whatever funk I'm in. So I would recommend making a serotonin song playlist. I will share mine. And unfortunately, I think I've already overplayed like 2 of the songs on the playlist that I need to remove, but it can evolve just like us. We can change, we can grow, blah blah. So make a serotonin song playlist and listen to it at least once a day. Even if it's not all the way through, listen to your serotonin songs, condition yourself to be happy. We are not accepting anything less this summer. It's going to be good. So, morals of the story. Get crafty, get your friends together, get these things in the calendar, make some fun stuff. And if you have any other suggestions that I have not included, because a lot of these were listener suggestions, but if you have any other ones that you did not get to me, then please let me know. And I'm happy to update the list in future episodes. So this is actually a short episode for me. I'm less than an hour, guys, and I got all the way through it. I have a couple trips coming up, so the episodes are probably going to be batched a little bit in advance just because I don't want to be giving you guys, these throwaway episodes that no one cares about, which people might not care about them anyways, but I want to make sure they're still high quality. So I'm going to batch a couple in advance, and I just am so thankful that you guys tune back in week after week. Love seeing the feedback from everybody. And again, let me know if you have any ideas for rebranding, if you have any suggestions, just really the direction that you want to see this go in, or what are your favorite parts? What do you not want to see changed? Because this would not be anything without the listeners. I would probably just be here talking to myself like always, but it would be a lot less fulfilling. So thank you again to everyone who listens. Let me know if you do any of these things from the summer bucket list. I would love to see photos. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your week. Have all mountains, no valleys, and I will see you next Thursday. Bye.